You know, you've probably met someone who just seems to live a little more inside their own head than out here in the real world. Well, today, we're going to dive deep into the psychology of those folks, the deep thinkers. Yeah, these are the people who they'll pause before they answer you. And it's not because they don't know what to say. Oh no, it's because they're weighing like 10 different possibilities all at once. Their whole world is built on just observing and reflecting.
So let's start by exploring what's actually going on in their inner world. You know, it's so easy to mistake a deep thinker's silence for, I don't know, boredom or like there's nothing going on. But the truth is, their mind is the exact opposite of empty. It is incredibly full.
I mean, this is just how they see the world. For a deep thinker, finding metaphors in literally everything, it's like breathing. A simple tree isn't just a tree, it's a whole lesson on roots and resilience. A single glance from a stranger, that can spin out into an entire story in their head. And psychologically, this isn't just some personality quirk. Researchers actually have a name for it: high trait introspection. It means they're constantly scanning for meaning, always asking why. And they're not trying to be difficult, it's just that question why. It feels like oxygen to them. Neuroscience even gives us a little clue here. This whole tendency is linked to way more activity in the brain's default mode network. And what's that? Well, it's the exact same network that lights up when we're being creative or daydreaming. So yeah, their mind is basically a constant storm of connections. And all of this really brings us to a central truth about being a deep thinker. This incredible internal world, it's a total double-edged sword. Every single gift they have seems to come with its own burden attached.
Right, the inner double-edged sword. The mind is both a canvas and a cage. This duality creates this internal landscape that can feel, at the same time, like a beautiful open canvas and a really isolating cage. At the very core of this whole experience is a process called metacognition. Now, most of us use it once in a while, but deep thinkers, they basically live inside it. They're constantly observing their own mental processes, questioning their own thoughts, almost trying to draw a map of their own mind. And this leads to this really powerful paradox. The gift is, of course, incredible self-awareness. I mean, they understand their own motivations and flaws with stunning clarity. But the burden? Well, seeing all of your own flaws in perfect high definition, that can lead to some seriously crippling self-doubt. And it's really crucial to make a distinction here. This isn't just overthinking. Overthinking is usually rooted in anxiety, right? You're worrying about what might happen. Deep thinking, on the other hand, is, well, it's more existential. It's questioning the very nature of life and time and consciousness itself. But here's that downside again. This intense analysis can get stuck in a loop. It's called rumination. Their mind just replays events over and over, dissecting every little word in a conversation, endlessly searching for a sense of closure that might never actually come. It just creates this constant mental noise. Okay, so how does this super private, complex inner world actually interact with the social world out there? Well, this brings us to what we can call the paradox of connection. They crave it deeply, but they often struggle to find it, especially in a world that seems to prize the superficial. Just think about a simple conversation. For a deep thinker, it is a whole multi-step process. They're not just hearing your words, they're listening intently, they're analyzing the subtext, they're connecting it to past patterns they've noticed, and then they're trying to formulate the most precise, honest response they possibly can. And here's the punchline that I think a lot of deep thinkers will find painfully relatable. After all that internal work, they are finally ready to share their carefully crafted thought, and the conversation has already moved on. So what do? They just stay quiet. This is exactly why small talk can feel so incredibly exhausting for them. It's like, while most people are happy just swimming in the shallows of daily life, deep thinkers are driven to dive for the pearls on the ocean floor of thought. They want to explore fears, dreams, the whole architecture of the human heart. And a big part of this comes from their almost superpower level of empathy. They are constantly reading emotional data that most people just miss. Tiny little shifts in tone or the energy in a room, they can often sense when something's off long before anyone even says a word. And it's not magic, you know? It's just intense, focused attentiveness. All right, so with a mind that's constantly analyzing, connecting, and feeling so much, what is the deep thinker's greatest challenge? Well, it really boils down to this. learning to quiet all that noise and just be in the present moment.
And being present is incredibly difficult when your mind is basically a natural time traveler. I mean, think about it. In a single moment, they can be replaying a conversation from 10 years ago, analyzing what's happening right this second, and simulating 100 different versions of the future. It is just exhausting.
And this all leads to a really quiet but profound realization. It's a bit of an irony, really. The goal isn't to think their way to peace by finding all the answers. True peace comes from letting go of that need to understand everything and just learning to live with the questions.
So how do they actually do this? Well, the healthiest deep thinkers learn to find anchors to reality. They use things like mindfulness or creative expression, art, writing, or even acts of service. Basically, anything that connects their rich inner world to the outer world, turning all that thought into tangible action.
Okay, this brings us to our final and maybe our most important point. If any of this is sounding like you, if you are a deep thinker, it is absolutely crucial to stop seeing your nature as some kind of flaw and to start honoring it as the strength that it is.
Look, there is always this temptation to shrink your thoughts to fit into smaller conversations, right? To hide your depth just to fit in. But honestly, the world does not need another shallow conversation. What it needs are minds that can see the invisible threads connecting everything. And ultimately, that is their value. In a world that so often rewards speed over substance, the ability to think deeply, to see all the complexity, that is not a weakness. It's a guiding light. Truly, depth in a shallow world is its own kind of light. So we'll end on this thought. The world really needs minds that can see the invisible and question the obvious. So if this is you, your mind was never meant to just fit in. It was meant to see through things, to turn chaos into clarity and all that noise into real insight. The real question isn't whether you should change, it's how will you choose to honor the depth that you already possess.